Hi, y'all. All right. Today we are going to talk about something that is feeling incredibly intense for me, and that thing is resistance. Now, my experience is that when you decide to really dive into a desire and explore all of the aspects of this desire, this red thread of desire, inevitably you encounter some psychological wounds. And as you know, when you touch an open wound, that hurts. So before I decided to really follow this small voice in me that was saying, I want to find a life partner, I was feeling pretty great and happy and full. In my 20s, I struggled with a lot of depression and anxiety, but pretty much now I'm really happy and full in my life. And I haven't experienced something like I experienced today in a really long time. But I'm glad I'm experiencing it because I think that what was happening before is that I was shutting down this desire in myself. And I could have just kept on living my life and been very happy not exploring this desire, but I decided to follow it. Or maybe it decided to pull me along. Who knows? And yeah, okay. So this is the form that this resistance took. First of all, it was a sense of I'm bored. I'm just sick of listening to these manifestations. Secondly, like, why am I doing this? Like, why do I want a partner? My life is great. Third of all, I mean, like, ugh, maybe I'm going to hate having a partner. I'm thinking about all of the unhappy marriages I know. This person is going to really annoy me. They're going to drain me. They're going to steal my freedom. My life is going to be so good and now it's going to be bad. This is a waste of time. All of these, so it took the form of boredom. It took the form of why am I doing this? And I think that when you are following a deep desire like this, like something for partnership, something so deep, something I wanted for so long, when you're unearthing, digging down and unearthing all of these things in your psyche through the manifestations I've been listening through, writing out what I want in an ideal partner and touching into the parts of myself that have been going against this desire, experiencing the fatigue I experienced after my date. When you dive into these things, stuff comes up and you want to stop. And that's why I decided that for 100 days, I'm going to make a video every single day. I did not want to make a video today. So what happened today is I woke up and it was gray. And the weather does affect my mood, although I think sometimes our mood also affects the weather. It can be a little magical that way. And so I wasn't feeling, it took me kind of 2 hours to get into moving. And I said, okay, what I need to do is even if it's gray, I need to go out and walk on the beautiful trail. So I went and walked on the trail. And then I still wasn't feeling so good, so I brought in some of my other things. I had a really delicious high-protein meal, healthy, and then I still wasn't feeling so good, so I made some unsweetened chocolate with maple syrup. I added some maca powder to it. I had vitamin B12. I had probiotics. And I felt like this gray cloud was descending, this kind of depression that was not attached to a story, just my mind was feeling like it was getting stuck in this cloud. Very unpleasant. And so I decided to lay down and surrender to this feeling. I've done somatic work in the past, which is very oriented towards feeling the feelings in your body without telling a story around them. So I just tried to surrender to this feeling. And I just almost had this sense of kind of this concrete table or wall in me, and then it dropping to my ankles. Then I woke up still feeling gray, and so I said, okay, maybe what I need to do is connection. Actually, that's when I made the hot chocolate and some green tea. I called my mom, so connecting to others tends to help. And I still wasn't feeling great, so I said, okay, it's very gray out, but I need to take a walk because I need to expose myself to vitamin D. So you can see I have all these tools that I use. So I went out and took a walk. And then I felt like, you know what, I'm just going to give up and have a glass of wine, which is not great. I mean, to try to deal with feelings of sadness by drinking alcohol. But I had a glass of wine and literally, like, my mood was completely unimpacted. I didn't feel anything. And then I started to feel like this gray cloud was so intense in my mind that I actually was starting to feel physical pain in my teeth, physical pain in my head. Fortunately, I had a yoga class planned, and I have a beautiful, wonderful yoga teacher in Split at the Devota Yoga and lovely friends I've connected to, and I told him that I was starting to feel depressed. This is not a feeling I've had in a while, this really intense pain and gray cloud, and some worry about this guy also being younger than me, and feelings of like inequality in terms of my level in life and all these stories, and I just met him. I mean, I'm dating, I'm not marrying someone. And so, in just a fear of being kind of pulled into this depressed space when I've been happy, like, why would I go from being happy and single to be getting pulled into this state of anguish? It doesn't make sense. So I did yoga, and about halfway through the class, this cloud started to lift. And so that was really beautiful. And just reminder, being in community and moving and asking the teacher for help. I think he definitely curated some of the class around that desire for mental health. And a lot of people get triggered around the holidays. That's not necessarily true for me. So I came away and I'm starting to feel a little better, but unmotivated to date. But it's about like, you have to have some kind of accountability when you set a goal like this for dating. And so you can keep going when it gets rough like this. And ultimately, I don't really know what's going on with me for sure right now, but I think and I hope that I've had this, with the table dropping, it's almost like I've had this table in me of all this joy and light and energy, but there's these wounds that are still there, and the wounds are being asked to be healed through my search for partnership, whichever form that takes. If I find a partner or not, for me, that's always been the vehicle when my wounds speak. And so maybe if I have been happy in my life and good, there are just these unanswered questions within me, and I think that part of life is about evolving and touching into those spaces that are quiet. And so it's just a hard time right now. And my hope is that if I stay present to these uncomfortable feelings, then I will evolve and I'll just be more whole because I won't be pushing down and hiding parts of myself. So right now I'm kind of giving myself my own psychoanalysis, but I want to share this all with you because my hope is that the people who are listening to this show really do want to find love or partnership or just explore together what's going on. Why are you so successful in your life and yet you can't find a partner? Or why are you so sad that you can't find a partner, or how to find a partner? And it's maybe you don't have as many crazy issues as me, but at some point I think that when we put our whole heart into a desire, like finding a wonderful person in our life or starting a career or making more money, and we really decide, okay, come hell or high water, I'm going to figure out what parts of my own psyche are blocking me from meeting my desire and heal those, there's going to be a point where it feels really hard. And if we are to heal in the way that we want to, we need a way to move through that. And for now, what I'm doing this time is accountability through this show, through committing to do 100 episodes. In the past, I've had an accountability buddy, like when I did 90 dates in 90 days in Austin, where I didn't find a partner, but I learned a ton about myself. Community is a great source of accountability, and I've told my friends that I'm doing this, so letting them down if I don't. Because right now, it would be so easy to say, like, I was happy before, screw this partner thing. Let's just move forward with the happy life I was living before. But I'm going to keep moving through it. Now, if there's one thing I've learned about being happy, I'm going to tell you that when I was feeling really miserable in my 20s, I did a lot of stuff. I did theater. I was an actress, and it was so wonderful going to acting class and like using what I was feeling in my work. And then I participated in a group called Hidden Treasure at a retreat center right on the hill. There were 5 really intense weekends 5 weekends a year for 3 years. And we went through all of the psychological defenses through healing our inner child. We did a vision quest of sitting outside on a hill for 24 hours. And we had a final project, and we were processing and growing all with each other in that spiritual energy of the group and the teacher. And then I started participating in Zen centers, and I got just so much from the Zen teachers. You get to meet one-on-one. You spend a week in this thing called, my gosh, Rohatsu, where you're just staring at a wall, and it's so intense every day for 7 days. And then this like fire volcano comes in you, and you just feel so amazing at the end. And all of those tools have helped me so much. And what I will say is that even with all of that, I was still feeling a great deal of anxiety and pain. And what freed me was nutrition and physical movement. And that wasn't anything to do with like, I also went to therapy, an amazing therapist, especially when I built my first tech startup. I had some really detrimental relationships with a male mentor who was very psychologically abusive to me. I really played into it by wanting that attention. And I ended up in a mental hospital and seeing a therapist, and she was so helpful. All of this was so helpful to me, but actually it was about cleaning my body through eating green vegetables, quitting alcohol, quitting caffeine, bringing in just a lot of healthy fats. I'll talk about my whole what I eat, but that was so important to me is the healing power of food. And actually I cut out gluten. We will talk about nutrition in a much more detailed way, and I'm going to do a whole episode on what I've learned about being happy and how nutrition has had such a big impact. So it's not always about analyzing your brain. I think what you eat can have a huge, huge impact on how you feel. And even sometimes when I do a cleanse, and a cleanse is usually basically like you cut out caffeine, alcohol, gluten. I'm vegetarian, but you would cut out any meat, dairy. And then the first day you just have like a massive headache. And then you mostly eat green vegetables, lots of healthy oil, juices. And by the end, it's just like, there's no problems in your life. Everything is going amazingly well. I mean, just this summer after I did the IVF, I was feeling really off. And I had an insight at the dentist, which is that all the antibiotics had really messed with my gut, and I just started using a ton of probiotics, and that just got me right back to myself. It wasn't therapy, it was what I ate. All of this to say that what I think I really need right now is all your positive energy, yes, lifting us up each other, doing this together, giving you back what I've learned so it benefits you, but also physical movement. And so I am gonna dance, and I think and I'm just gonna shake all of this out and all the toxins that I've processed by going through this, and I'm gonna feel great. So let's booty, dance with me. Like when I dance, I almost like, if I feel self-conscious dancing, I actually literally try to dance badly, and then that gets me going and I have so much fun. I used to do this with kids that I babysat for. I call it bad dancing. So we're gonna dance. Come on and join me. It'll be fun. Oh, one more thing. So actually I learned this from Amy Chan of Breakup Boot Camp. When deer, have trauma, they shake. And so sometimes it's just like so good to shake when you have trauma. So I'm going to shake and I'm going to dance. I'm just going to shake out all of this cloud and this pain and everything I've processed and get my energy going again through my body. Stop thinking about it, overthinking, just dance. I hope you dance with me and enjoy.